It's not that scary. Okay. This is called a pendulum. Okay? A lot of people know how this works. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but you gotta be careful with this sort of thing. You can access places beyond your physical reach. See, the universe is not locally real. We know that through physics. Basically, quantum entanglement, spooky action at a distance, right, by Einstein, tells us a lot about the world we live in, and it can be a lead to explain a lot of phenomena that has been witnessed and attempted to be described throughout human history. There's a lot of ancient knowledge to this, which plays into my story, which I am releasing step by step as needed. It's not a need to freak out or to be concerned, but to be aware though, if you do ever mess with this kind of thing, which I don't necessarily recommend it, you have to be clear on whom you're speaking to, basically, through it. And I'll show you how to program it. Really, most people use it to speak to their higher selves. So everything is systems nestled within systems, based on the fabric of reality, which in my beliefs is pointing at a sort of a monism, so to speak, which goes back to people like Heraclitus, pre-Socratic philosopher, and Zeno and his paradoxes. These are things you can look up. A lot of things kind of lead back to that sort of thing, which is kind of fascinating. Now, I have a lot of writings about this on my Medium page, which begins to discuss this. I have a lot of information I need to release, which I would do in a peaceful fashion, in a peaceful way, because the world needs to be peaceful. That is the purpose of this. This is not a end of days. This is not a whatever would make you kind of go to your head and be concerned. It's actually a beautiful thing. Just trust me, please, if you can. I believe in you, believe in me. Now I'll make this demonstration and I'll give some tips along the way. So again, this is a pendulum. There are dimensions all around us at which exist beings, entities of all sorts, both related to us and unrelated to us directly. Now, speaking of the higher self, basically our consciousness, from what I understand, exists at multiple levels of reality. We live in boundless creation, as I call it. We live under a higher power, a higher order. We live under God. And he takes care of us, or he, she, they takes care of us. There's all manner of beings in between. They can be both malevolent and benevolent, or neutral. Socrates, and really through the accounts of Plato as well, which is how we know of Socrates, describes daemon, not demon, daemon. Basically, that's the ancient Greek belief that we all at birth are associated with spirits. That's our understanding that we've used throughout a lot of history, that term spirits. Take it or leave it. Basically, there are beings who are attached to us from birth who can be guides, they can be benevolent, they can be tricksters, they can be malevolent too. Which I can show you how to defend yourself against that if necessary, but that takes practice, and if you're not really wanting to face that in your life, I would recommend turning off this video now. And it's not that you're going to be under any threat, but there is a way for you to channel your energy within, which I call soul power, which is, there's a lot to unpack and to explain and to understand as a people. I have a organization I want to start, which is nonprofit, independent nature, and research driven, that both ties into my mental health advocacy as someone who lives with schizoaffective disorder, which does tie into this as well. There's many layers to this. if you ever sense presences in your life that are negative or malevolent in nature, and not everything you see online is real, obviously not. But some things that we have experienced through life are real. And not everybody who goes through a condition that's labeled by me is going through the same thing, or going through anything they need to be concerned about in that way. Normal treatment, holistic mental health, is a great way to deal with that sort of thing. And if you're in crisis, please seek help. Now, that being said, integration into society and people are the greatest antidote to all things that plague us. People together, coming together, is the antidote to all things that plague the world. And that's all we need to be concerned about right now. So, all these disclaimers aside, some of this I'll go through step by step here as I do this demonstration. If you sense something as a presence around you that's not invited, just ignore it. First step, always just ignore it. Don't give it attention. That feeds it. If it's something that you're unwanted, uninvited. Okay? These things can be tricksters. Now, second off, there is truth to some practices and their ability to help cleanse energy, which energy is the basis of everything that we know through physics and beyond, and the known and the unknown. Hence my discussion and my coinment of the term Oounanamena. That's all on my social media, which you can take through as your time allows and as you're willing. I have a Medium account. I have all the major platforms. That's all you need to know for now. I have other writings we're going to release that talks about a bit more deeper subjects. And I have a positive thrust all in all. I'm a humanist. I believe in humanity. You should believe in humanity too. You should believe in each other. You should be good to each other. Positive energy is the biggest thing that you can have in your life and that's for your mental health, it's for your general physical health, it's through so many things. This is called sage. It does help quite a bit, and anything that you utilize that's beyond the normal baseline human condition is something that is very controlled by intent and belief of your mind. Your mind is a very powerful thing because your mind is tied to your soul, and your soul rides your brain, your body like a chariot, like software to a program, or a program to a hardware, basically. That's something that's critical to understand. And again, if you're not ready to handle this, just don't handle it. Ignore it. Your faith is your own, religion is your own, your beliefs are your own, they're all fine and good. They all speak to the same experience that we've all been sharing throughout culture and history, and we need to learn to accept each other and tolerate each other, very much so. That's the major trick to this life. Anyways, and this life matters, and you all matter, and you're all beautiful people, and I love you all. And you should love each other. Now, here's the sage. This does help greatly in cleansing the environment. It helps to have, if you need to, have like sort of a mantra that you express, which, I learned a lot of this from my ex, actually. She's, and some experiences I've had, which I will share, which I have footage of, that kind of brought me into this path. But essentially, it helps to say something like, all negative energy may go to the light. Only the light-loving energy of Jesus Christ is allowed here. Something like that. That helps you establish that authority over your environment and yourself. So here's the sage. It's going to help cleanse things. It's going to help keep a nice, clean environment here. Make sure this is still recording. Yay, it's recording. All right, just back. Okay. So, first thing you gotta do with your pendulum. Now, majority of this is for talking to your higher self. Because you got to be careful, again, of who you might be communicating with and what they might be trying to convince you of, right? It helps to have like trick questions, things that you would only know about yourself or only close ones around you would know when you're asking questions for the pendulum. This can help you establish with whom you're communicating with, okay? So, and also another way to do is establish your intent as to who you want to communicate with. And negate for your intent, and by speaking aloud, or even for me, I can just like communicate just like speaking mentally for my thoughts, and it will answer. Which I can demonstrate here as well, but that should be a case for anybody, I would believe. Anyways, notice that my hand will stay very still, and notice that this will begin to move. So, let me stop this for a second. Long story short, just heed these directions and listen as I demonstrate. Keep my hand very still. Please show me yes. Please show me yes a little more vigorously so we can demonstrate. Thank you so much. So now you know this motion is yes. Please show me no. Should I get my hand below so it's like demonstrated? Please show me no more vigorously. I'm trying to keep my hand steady. It's going to keep getting more vigorous. This is like really beyond my natural like ability to like get that momentum into it. Okay, please show me no answer. Okay. Well, I'll wait till it so I can kind of move it. Okay. Am I speaking to my higher self? Am I speaking to a higher power? Is this innate in all of us? Is this an important message? Should we all love each other? Oh, shit. That's a lot. Thank you very much. It's understood that any impersonator will not be allowed to do so. Okay, great. All right. Am I okay to proceed afterwards with a demonstration of, just a discussion on how to defend oneself? Thank you. Okay. Did I used to own goats in Thailand? This is true. Now I'm going to ask you to show me no in my mind. Thank you so much. So so in my mind, I said the no thing. That's for that. But as you notice, I always have to say yes, and I asked it to show me no answer. So the three main ways I program it. That's the easiest way to do it. The most straightforward kind of thing. It's just a demonstration. It's not for everybody. 8 degrees, I think, right here. Yeah. The pendulum and meaning through connecting to not it, but the higher self. It should be respected. You always got to thank the higher self for being there and answering and being a good part of your life. 8 degrees. The pendulum through the higher self, which is again, not it, but it's disrespectful to say it like that. Sorry about that. Um, okay, so let me discuss. Is it okay to disconnect? Okay, thank you so much. The handle will move a tad bit because of the weight of the pendulum. It's a little hard to control completely. To each their own. If you don't want to believe it, then don't believe it. It's probably not for you. Okay. I'm going to disconnect now. Thank you so much. It helps to have this right here. It's crystal clear quartz. There's multiple ways that you can cleanse the energy of these kinds of crystals, which help as conduits in different ways. I don't fully understand all that, but I've experimented around with it, some of it. The most potent of which is Moldavite, which I have a custom bracelet that I use to kind of balance out some of the energies on it. Some of you know what that is. Look it up. That's definitely not for everybody. All right. Here, so I'm just going to lay this here, which I should really be doing all the time. This is obsidian in here, by the way. And that's supposed to be helpful with like the energy aspect of things. And the sage burning is helpful too. That makes it clean, positive energy in the environment. All right. Mind you, I'm not espousing any religion, dogma, ideology, none of the like. Anything I give to you. Use your own mind, use your own heart, use your own soul. Your faith is yours. Okay. Just be good to each other and accept each other, please. God dang it. Like, please accept each other. All right. Now, there'll be a writing I released that talks about what my viewpoint, what I described it as, which is another term I'm coining, which is Uniparadigma, which combines the concept of the universal and paradigm from the original Greek, which I pronounce as paradigma, which basically describes the pattern and the way that the paradigm in the modern Western sense is your worldview, but I'm making it the universal view. And that's unique to you. And that's your own to have and to work through. We're all at different stages of development, and that's okay. It's not the end of times. It's not anything like that. We're just going through the processes that we need to. Anyways, there's no rapture. Like please don't. That's the one thing I'm going to stress. Anyways, please don't fear monger. Please, I don't fear monger. Don't fear monger. I also describe this era that we live in as the universal era. Because why not name our own era? And as a writing I'm going to release on that as an associated video for everybody to digest as they need to. Alright. So how does one defend oneself? Now, this was interesting because at one point, which there will also be videos I have of this, at one point I went through a major psychotic break with full-on visual and auditory hallucinations at the end of last year. I've had auditory, quote-unquote, hallucinations my whole life, which does not mean that they were all true or all good, but I've experienced it. It was the way I'm speaking now. Like, those things are often a mixed bag of, like, true and untrue things meant to trick you or potentially just illness of the mind, right? So be careful with what you want to take away from this and what's right for you. Now, where I succeeded in a lot of life is I always understood that there was something deeper to my experience. And that I was given the blessing to be strong enough to lean into that for a lot of ways, which will come out in a book I'm writing, which will come out in videos I'm discussing this, which will come out in a lot of information that for the right people at the right time. Okay? To each their own, though. To each their own. Now, there was a time where, as I got really deep into this and started figuring out some truths that were initially as if I was not supposed to have it, and basically went through a lot of adversity in my life, even more so than having schizoaffective disorder since the age of 17, and having been successful for a big chunk of my life by ignoring that, learning to delineate and to differentiate between hallucination, delusion, psychosis, and the objective reality we all currently share at the baseline human condition. It was my curiosities that could not be unquenched that I leaned into this and went for a lot of help. I went for a psychotic break where I had to take short-term disability from work. And I have a video that goes through a lot of experiences I've had prior and building up to it and after, and a lot of footage of it. Because I documented my psychosis even in the midst of it. And that's a lot to explain, so I won't do that here. But basically, this is all for good. I like to give assurances there. This is all for good. This is an important process that the world has to go through. That's one thing I can understand from the experiences I'm still unpacking. There's still lots to learn. There's still lots to share, and I can't do it all alone. We're all like the blind men touching the elephant. We all have pieces to the puzzle. Okay. We all have a role to play. We all have lives to live. Oh yeah, how did if worst comes to worst, like what happened to me, or the first time I almost got Baker acted, and my dad was witness to this. I was being attacked by a malevolent force. It was literally in my room all night, and I had already figured out a lot of stuff before this, so I was not scared. I knew how to defend myself, which I did, and I warded it off in the end, and warded off the cops too, because my parents got scared when they eventually saw what was happening and thought I was having a full breakdown. This is kind of building up to the actual psychotic break I had, where I kind of also picked apart some truth to that experience. Again, step by step, I'll release that as needed, or when ready, because it's a lot to dig through, a lot to digest. Now, basically, miraculously, because God has always been watching over me, and God has always blessed me. God didn't have the sense that you need to believe it or how it is right for you, right? The higher power. I was always given certain things at the right times in life to go through the right challenges, the right trials. I did not just steal fire from the gods. The gods have been a part. The higher powers and the gods have been, in my beliefs, a big part of how I've gotten this far and been successful along the way, and been able to survive and live a life and build a life despite having a label that would suggest otherwise. Now, from a diagnosis. Now, basically, I was never even really that deeply into some of this new age, but based on a lot of traditional knowledge and ancient wisdom type of practices and beliefs. But one day I was just plowing through YouTube. I usually just watch science-based stuff. I'm a big science buff. As well as philosophy and all that. This video pops up and it's how to use Reiki to heal yourself. And so one thing you gotta understand with the soul power, as I coin it, it's not a new thing that we just learned to understand and I just discovered it. I'm figuring out kind of a lot of how it's based into real scientific, plausible reality, but which I have discussed in my one of my first Medium articles called "The Problem of Science." I have other writings on it, but basically, some cultures describe it as cheese. We've described it a lot of different ways. there is a force that emanates all around your body, right? Remember how like your soul rides your body like a chariot? So that's that force that has potency and power to it. Okay? And you gotta be good with it. You gotta be good to people. Okay? Otherwise it'll whiplash on you. I promise you that. So anyways, so to defend yourself against like a presence that you can't see or understand that is giving you hell, that is actually like physically hurting you in any kind of way, as it was me that night, this is a way to understand how to defend yourself. Okay? So basically, Reiki, practice of it in a few loose steps, and I recommend watching actual full videos on that practice if you want to learn more. But basically, it's about like using your internal mind and your mind's eye, in my experience, is the best way to do it, to visualize that energy within. I color code my energy the way I visualize it. I have green for healing, blue for calming, and red for aggression and fighting. So those are some basic things, and it's whatever works for you in your mind's eye. Basically, teach your own, though. Teach your own. But basically, I was so shocked eventually when it taught me how to like just focus on your breathing, focus on your mind, visualize, use your right hand as a beginner thing. Is use your right hand to emit energy and your left hand to receive energy. You know, I visualize that energy, that clean, healing energy transferring from my body to some back pain I had, like right here. And this is before anything went to shit. And right before, the same day actually, same night, is where things got really sketchy. So funny, right? Anyways, I had this little bit of back pain, and I just calmed, I focused on my breathing, and I channeled that internal energy in my mind onto that pain spot. And it didn't make the pain go away altogether, but it made it go away for that moment. This is why people believe in those practices, and they go for that for healing. Now, I was like, I'm dealing with some sketchy stuff. I had the voices I've heard at the time and other related beings messing with me physically at times. Sometimes they would even do all kinds of stuff with my body. Nothing really that crazy or that harmful up to that point, up until that night, where I was, I was in the beginning of like having to like fight off certain things. And learning how to do this. Well, let me clarify. I didn't have to learn to fight until I figured it out that night, that earlier that day, and then ended up having to put it into practice later on that night, and almost got Baker-acted because of the way it looked. And literally, it was like this force of like contorting my body in ways that don't make sense. It was not neurologically explainable. The way it came and went, it was not. It was like shutting my mouth, like when I tried to talk. I have that on video too. All kinds of things. And so, building up to that, I was like, well, if I can channel healing energy, what if I can reverse engineer this? And knowing that I was dealing with something deeper and dangerous in my own experience of schizoaffective disorder, which is an amorphous thing, it's on a spectrum, and not everybody's going through the same thing and needs to be scared, okay? Don't be scared. Fear is the mind killer, like in Dune. And, ignore is the first step. Don't give it that power. Don't give it that fear. Don't give it that basic attention. You can cleanse your environment the way I showed. And if you really, 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 really have to, you can defend yourself and learn how to do that. I wouldn't really want to focus on that without having to be put into that situation against your will, which is not likely to happen for a lot of people. I don't think that's really going to be the life that we live anymore. Now, basically, I use that red energy to channel through my hand, and I would emit that force at where I could perceive it in my local environment. And so when this thing came along and started trying to, the first thing it did to me was it tried to like make me bow down by like forcing my whole body down when I was trying to go to bed. And I immediately caught on to what it was. And knowing that these things could interact with my body previously, it wasn't talking to me through my head or my voices, but I was able to communicate it with it by asking it to shrug my shoulder. I can demonstrate that now with any being that may be watching me to please shrug my left shoulder. I did not do that myself. Do it again. I was able to ask it like 21 questions, yes and no, to kind of figure out maybe what it was getting at while I was messing with me. I asked it to leave me alone. I warned it off. I tried to warn it away, saying that was not a good idea. I ended up in battle with it in my room all night long. That's how eventually in the morning, my dad came in, he saw me, he freaked out, and then my parents called the cops, and I almost got Baker directed. This was a while back. This was prior to the major psychotic illness I had, which was a whole shitbag of lies and disreality, as well as some things that I was able to document, which I can share later on. And I was successful in the end, as I mentioned. So that's just everything you need to know so far in a nutshell.